Hey guys, welcome back to 3 Mississippi. I'm Sid.
Mike.
And if you've been following our journey, we just left our small farm in Southern California and moved to a larger farm in Northern Mississippi. Well, part of moving means
Organizing.
And we are to the point now where we have to tackle the workshop and the garage. So let's get to it.
All right, guys, welcome to the disaster area, right?
Yes.
Let's take a little look at this
It's bad,
shop,
guys.
right? I mean, it's a mess.
It's tools, it's boxes, it's things that, we kind of just, I don't want to say this became the dumping ground, but this is sort of the things that...
All the low priority stuff when we moved in.
Yeah, like I got all the boxes unpacked and the house kind of put away, but we saved all the boxes because Mike's using those to get the garden ready. So Frankie's actually right now dealing with the big pile of boxes out there that she broke down. So in here though, Mike's got some things that he wants to do to really utilize this space well, and some things that we're gonna need to do in order to get ready for the next season coming.
Yeah, the reality is, we're gonna show you the garage in a minute. Really, in order to organize the garage, we need to be able to move some more of the things that are in the garage that belong in the shop to the shop. Big catch-22, right? If we put more in this shop before we start organizing it, how many times do you want to move something, right? That's basically the question that I ask myself is, how many times do I want to move that item? Well, this shop has become a priority this weekend to start figuring out. And, if you know me, I like to figure out what's the long-term plan before I do even the small stuff, if I can. Because if the long-term plan is to put a walk-in cooler, say, over in that corner right there, right? Then the last thing I want to do right now is set up a bunch of stuff over there, the generator, some of my tools, and then wind up having to reorganize that stuff somewhere else. Let's talk about potential layout. Long-term layout for the shop, and then kind of the short-term solutions. Okay, guys, so from the outside, we got a nice roll-up door right here. It's pretty good size, right? The shop is watertight. You come inside the roll-up door, and you've got a nice concrete slab. You've got LED light up there. You've got a door in the back that goes out. That's Will's horse trailer back there, okay? And then on this beam up here, you have conduit that goes all the way around the outside edges, and there's power, okay? There's a light switch over there, and there's a light switch over there. What I'm thinking is next to the door here, okay, and in this corner, that's northeast, all right? So that should be the coolest corner of the shop. And that's where I think I want to build my walk-in cooler, all right?
A cold room, right?
A cold room.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to put a walk-in cooler there, then next to the walk-in cooler over here is probably the best place for a prep area. Once I get my market garden going, I'm going to have a need for a prep area, and I think that's the best place for that. So really, that whole side is ruled out. I feel like that whole side should be just basically storage of things for now. No permanent setup of things until I build that cooler. So then we come around here, all right? I think that area next to the door on that side, I'm gonna hold off on really deciding what to put there until I decide what this prep area is gonna look like. So then over here, you can see this is where we just kind of defaulted a bunch of the garden tools that we went there because it looks like that's where the previous owner kept them.
There was already a tool rack there, so it made sense for that stuff.
So, and then around here, for now, Sid's quail cage is there. That's going to get moved out. I think this whole wall on this side is going to be my shop. You're in the frame now, just so you know, on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
That refrigerator, or freezer rather, that's behind Sid needs to go in the garage. But some of the stuff that's in the garage needs to be relocated and to make room.
Yeah, and a lot of his, his tools and things that are in there right now, there's a lot of the tools and things that are in there right now that eventually are going to have a home out here. So some things need to be swapped basically, but there's some organization.
Right.
And obviously, as you can see, there's some like empty boxes here.
Right. All these boxes.
These were boxes that had some trash in them from me unpacking the house that, you know, I unpacked like our living quarters essentially. And so as I was doing it, I was just shoving things in the boxes and taking them out because he said he wanted to keep the boxes. I found that out later. I stopped shoving trash in them. So there's only a few boxes that have stuff like that in them. But going back just real quick, because he mentioned the cold room in that corner, there's a little bit of a need for urgency to get that done because, you know, here it is September, you know, Mike's working on his deer plot, or food plot for the deer, I should say. It's not really a deer plot. You can't plant deer and grow them. If you could, that would change the whole hunting game. But I digress. So because it's like almost, he's laughing at me behind the camera, because it's like deer season just about, he's gonna need a place to hang his meat, so to speak, his deer, as he's, you know, processing it out and letting it do its thing. And then obviously as time goes on, we're gonna want a cold room for processing other animals and things that we do here on the farm. So building that for this first deer season is going to be important. So that's kind of high on the priority list, which is also why this needs to get done a little bit faster. Like we're on a little more of a time crunch beyond me just not liking it being the way it is right now.
Yeah, when it comes to the deer, you know, the reality is we are not growing chickens, we're not growing pork, we're not growing lamb, we're not growing any of the meat that we're used to growing. And I can kill a lot of deer legally during season here, so that, you know, we can take that meat off the land and put it in the freezer and stop buying meat to some extent. Obviously, we're not going to only eat deer. I think we should probably go look at the garage. What do you think?
The garage gives me fits.
The garage is bad,
It's
people.
bad, guys.
It's bad.
But I think, give us some of your ideas too, guys. Like we said, we definitely want to put the cold room in that corner, his prep area over here, and then any tips or tricks that you guys have as far as like maybe for organization for his tools. Because I feel like, I love you, but I feel like organizing his tools is his biggest struggle.
One thing before you guys recommend it that I've already thought of, so I'll bring it up in case you didn't think of it and you have some recommendations on how to implement it. If you look over here where the cold room is going to be, in this corner, those ceilings are super tall. I don't know how tall they are, but I would say
Aren't they like 16 feet or something stupid?
Probably about 16 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that the insulated roof on top of this cold room is also going to be a floor for second story storage. So right away, the real estate that we lose from the floor space here to the cold room, we gain back above it for, you know, Christmas decorations and whatever.
Stuff that we don't access
all
all the time.
And there's nothing to say that I couldn't also build a second story over the top of my workbench over here for portion of this wall.
You totally could from out of that beam.
Yeah, so I could do a portion of this wall, kind of put a roof over the top of my workbench, get some nice shop lights there, and then have another story of, you know, storage space up there also. So that's definitely one of the things that I'm kicking around.
Yeah, I think that, like, honestly, I think our biggest thing, one of the things we like at each other a lot about at the old place was if I needed a tool, it was always in a different spot every time I went for it. And I feel like if we have it laid out in a way that makes sense and is organized for him, that things will end up being kept more organized out here.
Well, not only that, but some of the things we struggled with at the old place were things like a staple gun, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have like 4 staple guns at this property. There's going to be a toolbox that lives at the chicken coop, a toolbox that lives down at the barn,
right,
a toolbox that lives in the garage, the house, and then tools out here.
Right.
And there's going to be certain things that we have multiples of, so that we don't have to, if we're at the chicken coop, we don't have to go to the shop to get a staple gun, a pair of pliers, a hammer.
Yeah, if you're doing small
know.
stuff, yeah. Like, and I've always kept my own little tool bag that I always keep in the house for, you know, hanging pictures and fixing little things or unscrewing something or whatever. So I totally agree. I think we should have like separate little like farm action go bags at each location. That's what we call them too.
Farm action go bags.
Yes.
All right, we should patent
Call
that.
today,
And
$19.95 plus shipping and handling.
yeah.
But if you act now, we throw in a tiny human.
Yeah, because we can't do this all night. Call in the next 15 minutes.
No, just kidding. All right, we should go look.
Farm action go bag. Hey, I'm
gonna
seriously,
patent that?
I'm gonna patent that. So farm action go bag. Come
Yeah.
on. Let's go look at the garage.
Let's go. Oh look, Frankie's working on her boxes that we pulled out here right now.
Yeah, good job.
She's doing good.
What do you think? You think you're gonna have enough that are already flattened out? Or
I
are you gonna
think
have to
so.
flatten some more out?
I think so, because a lot of them at the bottom are like even really, really flat. So.
Okay.
I am excited though to get this pile of boxes out from the front of the house because I really have hated it the last few weeks. Now I know people understand that we've just moved in and we're still unpacking and everything, but I just hate it. I do. Whoa.
It's pretty embarrassing in here. I'm embarrassed to show you guys this, but you know
we're gonna
what?
do it.
We're gonna be honest and show you. Here's the garage.
Here's the garage.
So we brought a ton of our canning jars, all of these black and yellow topped. A bunch of this stuff is all our prepper food. That which
stuff
we did
that
bring.
was in our prepper pantry
Yeah.
that we built back at the old place.
Prepper pantry
Yeah,
stuff.
prepper pantry.
Um,
Extra paper towels and toilet paper. Cause
yeah, every one of these is a case of toilet paper, so we don't have to worry about toilet paper.
Yep.
And you know, I've got guitar amps, I've got tons of clothes, I've got ties in here that hopefully I'll never wear again. I've got guitar cases back there. Guitars are in the house, but I've got tools. I've got my drill press in here. Bunch of that stuff back there is actually going to wind up going into the shop, not in here.
Yeah.
And like over here, I mean, this is all going in the shop. This is all my toolboxes. And
Yeah, there's a lot of his what do you call it? Microgreen stuff, his starter stuff for plants when he starts them in the house.
yeah, I have to figure out where
in winter.
in the shop I'm going to set up racks for starting my seeds and doing my microgreens, because in the wintertime I'll be doing microgreens just like I would have at the previous place, right? I have all my lights, there's no reason that I can't get all that set up, and as soon as the temperatures drop a little bit more so they're not baking in there, I can start doing microgreens, and then at least we're growing some food. And I'll need that whole setup to start all my seeds in the spring also. So a lot of this stuff that's in here, this is a toolbox full of tools. Probably we were looking for some of them. All this stuff, all these tools need to go into the shop. And then, we have, I don't know if you guys remember the pantry at the old place. We had all those racks in there. Well, we broke all those racks down and brought them with us. They're broken down in the shop. We need to get those racks set up probably along this wall back here is where I'm thinking, so that we can uncrate all of our food and get it there. Now, some of you guys are saying, hey, garage is a bad place for a pantry. That's a true story. Because it's hard to maintain temperature control. We're headed into fall right now, so we've got some time. Temperatures are starting to come down. It's going to be cool all winter. By spring, we need to build a pantry, and we will. I'm going to come about probably to the edge of that window right there, and then all the way to probably about right here. Actually, no, I got this attic door right here, so it's going to stop right before that. I'm going to frame in a pantry right here, and I will put an air conditioning unit in it for both humidity and temperature control. And then we won't have a pantry that has the butchering station in it like our old one did at our old house, but
You'll have the cold room.
I'll have the cold room with a stainless steel butchering station in it. So we'll have all the same things. The pantry will be close to the house here, not out there in the shop. Somebody's going to say, you're already building a cold room. Why don't you just build it bigger, make that your pantry? It's too far away from the kitchen, and so I want the pantry closer. That doesn't mean that we won't store some things potentially in that cold room. You're 100% right, especially root crops and things like that. But yeah, pantry up here in the garage, close to the house. I don't know what we're gonna do with the rest of the garage. We haven't even talked about that. We're not probably gonna park vehicles in it, especially if we take up some of this space to build a pantry. We may very well use it to park our zero turn and our quads and some of our smaller vehicles, so that we can open up that space underneath the overhang over there for larger things like hay bales or something. So that's all conversations that we can have. So one option with that pantry, well, you know, here's the thing. That pantry can't come farther than this window.
Right.
That's a really, like,
it's weird.
It's interesting. Those are giant windows looking into the garage.
Yeah, which I mean, it was one of the things about the house that I was like, really? That's kind of weird. Like, why would you want a window, like, even if you parked your cars in here, like, why would, I don't know. It's just strange to me that was, like, where they put a window, but whoever did the house originally. But it's kind of odd. I don't hate it.
Yeah, the previous owners, I'm sure, did not put that there.
But it was that was
the builder,
yeah.
And you know, they had a reason. They built it for themselves,
right.
And we don't know what they stored in here, but
they might have they
wanted to be able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were working on a car a lot in here, and they liked the idea of being able to see if somebody was coming up the drive. I don't know.
But you know, here's an option. An option is come about 3 or 4 feet inside of those windows and build a wall, so that when you walk down that sidewalk and look through those windows, you see a wall that has some pictures on it and some downlighting.
That would be
right?
Cool. I kind of like that.
Now I can put now I can make a larger pantry. You know what's interesting? This entire garage is closed in. Mm-hmm. When I looked up there, mm-hmm. there was insulation laying on top of this ceiling.
Right.
The garage door is an insulated garage door.
Yep, it is.
And it has a rubber seal here and here. I'm sure there's a little bit of air leakage along the edges, but this is a finished garage.
Like, this is the ceiling, guys. Like, I don't know why there's a handprint up there, though. That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
It's a weird spot for a handprint, like 10 feet in the air. But, like, I mean, the ceiling is, like, done, and, like, there's a window. Like, I feel like this was, I mean, granted, it's a regular, like, garage, like, cement floor, but it had this little step up where the chest freezer is, and the previous owner left the chest freezer for us. Like, I don't know. Maybe this was, like, maybe somebody hung out in here. I don't know.
I feel like we could potentially temperature control this whole garage. In order to do that, we'd have to move the freezers into the shop.
I wonder if it makes more sense to build the cold room in here with the pantry. Did I just blow your mind? I feel like that might make more sense, honestly.
Do you want a freezer in here?
I mean...
Problem is freezers, refrigerators, they put off a lot of heat.
Right.
So you can't put freezers. We have 3 freezers.
Right.
And they when we're running at full steam, they're full.
Right.
You know, we've got ever how many birds that we're processing that are for sale. Sometimes, you know, we sell them fresh. Sometimes we freeze them. We need all that. It's freezer space. So wherever those freezers go cannot be a space that we try to temperature control.
Well, that's okay. I mean...
Sounds like we got some stuff to talk about, don't it?
I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like, that does bring up an interesting situation, since this is already, like, pretty well insulated, which I had told Mike before. I was like, yeah, when it's really, really hot, it's not that bad in the garage.
No, it's not.
Like, not what you think it would be. Like, it's still warmer, obviously, than the house. We have AC in the house. So maybe it does make more sense to move the freezers into the workshop and just have the small mini outdoor fridge in here for, like, the drinks and stuff and your sweet tea and stuff that takes up, because the refrigerator in the house is a little bit small.
We could put that on the front porch.
Yeah, whatever. That works too. Honestly, it doesn't matter.
It's an outdoor fridge.
It is an outdoor fridge. So we could put it, you know, out there. And then if we moved the freezers into the workshop, I mean, really, you're talking an extra couple 100 feet to get to them.
Right.
So to me, that's like not a big deal.
Here's where it's a problem. When I'm butchering, I need those freezers close to where I'm butchering.
Oh, well, okay.
And that's why the freezers were parked right outside of the pantry. Yeah, we're back to, if we want the pantry in here, we build a large pantry, we temperature control that pantry only, we keep the freezers in here. We could still have the cold room in here also beside the pantry. We could build pantry and cold room side by side in here.
Right.
Only temperature control those.
Right.
And go ahead and have the freezers on the outside of that temperature controlled area. We got some thinking to do.
We do. So here we thought we were going to tell you guys what we're going to do, but as we were talking about it, we're like, oh, maybe. And which happens sometimes because we want, like, we don't want to do anything and then have to redo it because we go, oh, we don't like it, or oh, we didn't think this through. Like, that was a bad idea. And especially since the old house, we stocked it for our, like, 6 months before we bought that place. So we had a lot of time.
Right. We had ideas
to talk about things and look at the layout and the floor plan and kind of go over it all.
And frankly, that place had a lot more limitations than this place.
Right. It did. Yeah, it did.
It dictated some of what we could do.
Yeah, and it had more things that needed done, like, first. You know what I mean? So, but this place, we have more options, and
nothing needs
to be done. There's some painting and stuff I want to do inside, but that, again, that's not a big deal. But everything else, it's like, well, we have to kind of, it's almost like starting with a blank slate because they didn't have anything like set up or built outside or anything. So it's kind of for us to decide how we want to do it. So we just want to make sure we really think about it and plan it out in a way that makes sense. And some of that is also kind of watching the way water flows on the property and
I'm learning that.
Right.
I mean, I think we have the outside rough layout pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
The long-term outside rough layout. The inside concept of how we're going to utilize the shop and the garage. Right. I thought I had some good ideas that when I said them out loud, she was going to agree and we were going to lock it in and it was going to be, but now after talking through this while filming, everything's changing.
Yeah. And I think for us, like, I think if we can kind of focus on the next 2 months, the immediate things are obviously him finishing his food plot for his deer and us getting this squared away between the garage and the workshop.
And having a place to hang those deer. Right.
So that's the immediate problem, is getting that cold room started, which means getting these two spaces organized and squared away, and him finishing his deer plot. So those are the things that are sort of top priority right now in order for us to kind of then be able to work on the next level of projects of building things that we need to get done as far as animal structures and things on the property. So I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah, I think I'm coming out of filming this video with a lot more questions than I came into it with. We better wrap this up before my brain explodes.
I know, I just might. So anyway, thank you guys for taking the tour here with us of our messy garage and workshop. Drop us any tips that you might have, or if you think we're on the right track, let us know. If you think we're nuts about where to put the cold room or whatever, let us know that too. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, my oven's going off. Hold on, I gotta reset my timer. I gotta check it first. It needs another minute or two. All right, making a zucchini noodle pasta bake situation. But I wanna show you guys what's going on outside of my dining room window right now. So we got a nice little burn pile going. Mike's taking a break on his zero turn over here in the shade. Not that it's sunny out anymore, but he's sitting far enough. I bet it's probably putting off some heat. But we had all those boxes. He used, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a bunch that he did on the garden. I'm just trying to kind of clean up from the moving mess now. And he's got the burn pile going out there. Looks good. I'm gonna go check on him in a second once I get my stuff out of the oven. What are you doing?
I'm leaving behind the line.
Good job.
I mean, not really, but we got a bonfire.
I saw. And you got your garden layout going on over there?
Yeah, almost done. I just have to bring ours. I hope you don't lose your mind. Your truck's not where it's supposed to be.
It's fine.
But I drove it all the way around and backed it up to the fire pit.
Good job.
So I think I get a gold star.
Gold star. Let's go see what Mike's doing. Is that your recliner essentially over here?
It's my throne.
Your throne. Are you watching your burn pile? That burned up quick. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I got rid of that old cabinet that was in the shop.
Did you pull the doors off?
No.
Oh,
They were jacked.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to upcycle it, but I guess
no,
not.
it was
beyond
bad.
repair. Okay.
So I just burned the whole thing, and then I burned all the moving boxes that we had left over, except the ones that she's laying out over the garden to kill the weeds. I should have composted all of them, but I need to clean right now.
Yeah, it's like the unpacking.
Yeah.
We're just in cleaning mode.
Yeah, the amount of boxes we get over the course of a year from Amazon and stuff.
Right.
I'll do a lot of cardboard composting, but right now I just had to get rid of a lot of it. So.
Right.
Plus, I wanted to have a bonfire.
I was teasing him that I thought he was maybe missing California and the homeless encampments, and that's why he wanted to have all the boxes out front.
Those boxes have been out there for 6 weeks. I can't believe you didn't bring me a beer out. You're holding a beer. Give me a drink.
I have my hands full. Well, it's not really a beer.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. Geez, don't finish it. Holy cow, misters. You just drank like half of it.
It's pretty good. Tastes like Kool-Aid.
That was my last cold one.
You have a mosquito in your belly.
Fucking mosquito. Satan. All right, dinner's ready, by the way.
I told Frankie she can't eat until she finishes.
All right, well, we can eat without her.
I'm gonna let that die down and then I'll be in.
Okay, then I'll eat by myself.
No, you can wait. Have another beer.
No, you just drank my last cold one.
Oops, you're welcome.